The Big Three, a ye old internet conversation of the mid-2000s that I thankfully never participated in. All I know about it is that it was just 3 animes that people considered to be mega popular, as well as them being long-running shows, hence why the big in Big Three. Which leads me to a confession of sorts. I am not an anime watcher of any kind. No, really. I've only watched a handful of shows that my friends recommended me and Dragon Ball. Very rarely I look for shows to watch, and even then, it's a 50-50 of a chance for me to watch those shows. So, whenever my friends drag me into doing dumb things with them, it's mostly just my friends discussing something anime related while I'm over here doing my Teto territory dance. Then, out of nowhere, one of them started talking about their own personal Big Three. Saying what these shows meant for them, it got me wondering, what was my Big Three? Do I even have a Big Three? And while the short answer is being no, it got me wondering if there were even a Big Three of any kind of media to me. Countless nights pondering what pieces of media mean a lot to me. All of those sleepless nights turning me into Nutao, it dawned upon me. While I may not be an anime watcher or a manga reader of any kind, I do play and study a lot of video games in my downtime.
You already know what it is. Let's go. One more time. Let's get it. One more time. We outside, yo. I came in a foot.
I love video games. I love playing them, I love breaking down the mechanics, the attention to detail that the developers put into them, to how they are made, to even the inspiration of the details. I love them so much that my job is now to help aid them in the vocal side of things. So coming up with a top 5 of my favorite games of all time list is kinda easy for me. However, when figuring out a Big Three is when I start feeling conflicted. There are 3 games that I do consider my Big Three, however there is already a top 5 for me that's kinda just solidified in my mind, and it just felt wrong to call them my Big Three because that means something has to be third and something has to be first. With countless pondering, transforming this Utao into a pear, I came up with an idea. The Big Three? Nah, get that out of there. In time, there are more things that will become important to me. So, say farewell to that word and number, and say hello to these 3 games that I consider to have ascended above all. And so, with that new title, let me tell you one that has ascended in my mind for the longest time. Halo Reach is a game that needs no introduction. It's the last title of Bungie made for Halo, and my god did they deliver. The story, the gameplay, to even the multiplayer, everything felt so clean. And this isn't going to be a review of the game. I consider this game to be the most time capsule game I could ever play. It always reminds me of all those times when me and my family would get together, huddle around the TV, and play this game among others. But this game in particular, the online mayhem, the trash talking, it was all there for my family to enjoy. But as usual, time is an illusion that helps things make sense, and we all had to stop meeting. Being alone with no one to hang around just sucks. No one to talk to, no one to bounce ideas off of, just you and your thoughts. But thankfully for me, there was this game that I almost played religiously with so much more content to explore, and the first thing that I probably played a little too much of was the story mode. In this game, you get to play as you. Not the Arbiter, not Master Chief, or even Mr. Chief, just you. They even make you customize the armor you wear before playing, and once you get that helmet on, the story starts. If you've never played this game before, just imagine this. It's already grim. The reason why you're joining this team and becoming Noble 6 is because the last 6 died in combat, and you are not what they want, but what they need. Your team goes to investigate a distress signal, so you go to investigate and bam! The Covenant is on this world, Reach, which means things are incredibly bad for mankind. Why? Well, Reach is pretty much the HQ of the space military, and this planet was super hidden from the Covenant. So, if the Covenant is already here, that means we've lost and we need to recover. So each mission after that is trying to find a solution to this problem, and what the Noble team can do. But each step of the way, things just keep getting grim until the solution is found, which leads to one of your teammates sacrificing themselves for the greater good. Finally, a small victory and a small shed of light to this very dark situation, only for it to get immediately snuffed out. Then it just keeps getting worse from there. Regrouping, assessing the next plans, evacuation, and death. Humanity is getting clean. And even when the solution to our salvation is in our hands, it just feels like a Hail Mary that will never help. Which leads us to the final mission, which just affirms that the Covenant is too powerful. Reach is lost, time to get off this damn planet and fight for another day. Only until your last teammate dies. And you decide to do this.
Lieutenant, get aboard! We gotta get the hell out of here!
Negative. I have the gun. Good luck, sir.
Good luck to you, Spartan.
You go up to the cannon, defending the Autumn and making sure that the Autumn leaves, and when it's done, you're all alone. No backup, no team, and your way to get off this planet, gone. All that's left for you to do, your last mission. Survive. Waves after waves of enemies come after you. Cracks in your helmet start to appear, your HUD fading. The Covenant is all too much for you. No matter how hard you try to fight back, no matter how hard you try to survive, this mission was already doomed from the start. And the last person from Noble Team, you, the player, dies. As a kid, this story was the most insane thing to play. Even besides the story, the amount of Easter eggs and funny stuff you can do in this game that they gave you was pure ecstasy. It was absolutely Bungie's last hurrah to the series, and it just shows. Once you beat the last mission, you get a very heartfelt message from the team saying, "Thank you for all the years." If you have $10 for whenever the Master Chief Collection goes on discount, get it just to play this game. From the story, the multiplayer, to even the level of customization and the sandbox, this game gave you the tools to keep you entertained for years on end, which is why I consider it ascended above all for the longest time. Later on, after playing this game among others for years on end, another game came out that out of the Ascended, this one is considered a masterpiece to me. And if you watched any of my videos, you might already have the tiniest hint to what game I'm talking about. this game, this goddamn game was the crack I needed. Ever since this game came out in Japan in 2015, I shut myself away from those online spaces that talk about this game. I've been playing Yakuza since the OG Yakuza 2 was released. I am so familiar with these characters and the insanity that it brought with it. While I do consider Reach to be one of the main forces that I played when I was down, a very close second was 5, which helped because there was too much content in 5. So when they announced Zero, a prequel setting in 1988, the bubble economy, now seeing how young Kiryu came to be and how Majima became the mad dog that everyone loves, I was so ready for another wacky woohoo fun adventure, feeling like a 24-hour Cinderella. No matter what game came before this or after, this game is going to be my #1 game of all time. Do you know the meme, a good book can change your life? Yeah, that was me, but with this game. Around when this game came out, I was struggling to find something, and that something was intangible. How do I say this without seeming like I have past major issues? Death is something that I'm all too familiar with. So many people in my life have passed either by natural causes or unnatural causes. And because of this, I started not fearing death, but questioning death and mortality. I've seen those people who've passed grow, and I knew that they had ideals and everything, but that was their answer to life. So what was the question that they had? I started wondering stuff like, what makes you live? What makes you fight? How do you go on even when there's an outside force that's making it tough for you? With these questions in the back of my mind while playing this game, it's beautiful story about struggles, powers, questions, ideals, and it's over the top but uplifting side stories. It kind of felt like this game was helping me formulate a question to why I want to live and making me find an answer and build an ideal for myself that I will defend with my bare hands if I need to. If you have never played this game before, please play it. I promise you it will change your life when you open your heart to it. And if you've already played it again and 100% it. It's the only thing you can do to say thanks to these creators. Even though it may take you over 300 hours if you don't know what you're doing without a guide, but anyways, from these two games, you can already tell something. These games are set in the bounds of like human-esque reality. The hardcore, intense story, John McShooty saves the world from evil corporations kind of games. And while I do like those kind of games, there was a time where I would only play those games because I feared of what people would think of me if I played something a little bit more silly and lighthearted. After what felt like playing these games forever, there was this one game that I decided to give a chance because just from looking at it, it felt like something that I would enjoy as a kid. A game that felt more of a whimsical adventure rather than the hardcore story mission set in realism. And once I booted up this game and I heard the music, I already knew that I was being sent on an adventure of wonder throughout time. A Hat in Time was the fresh air that I needed. At the time, I was playing a lot of grounded games. So after finishing playing Metal Gear 5 and finishing the entire catalog of Fallout, I just felt burnt out from playing games. But when I offhandedly saw an ad for A Hat in Time, it just made me go, you know what? Last time I played a 3D platformer was Mario Galaxy, so peck it. I walked 3 hours to buy a Steam card from my local supermarket, failed at talking to the cashier by responding, "Good, how about you?" when she responded to my question of "How are you doing today?" Walked home, bought the game, and when I booted it up and started playing it, that burnout immediately washed away. The absurdity and the charm of this game is the exact opposite of what I was playing for years. I cannot stress this enough. I just went from playing things like this.
But it cannot be. This would mean that
All my work.
has been for nothing.
Such a lust for revenge? Ooh!
To this. Going on these adventures across the planet, collecting whatever the developers made while stopping to appreciate the scenery and meeting all of these wonderful creatures was just the thing I needed. The environments, the writing, the boss battles, the music, God, the music! Each level I went to felt like a trip through Disneyland that I wanted to explore over and over, and they actually gave me a reason to do it with the collectibles and the hidden levels to find. Everything about this game just felt like something I would have loved as a child. And when I got to this part of the game and started hearing this music, I don't know why, but I started to get this wave of nostalgia to when I was playing games like Spyro and Pac-Man World. It was at that moment when I started to get these waves of memories that I knew this game was going to be something special to me. It felt like this game was telling me, hey, remember, these are the games that you love the most, so don't write them off entirely, okay? And don't get me started on the DLCs as well. From Seal the Deal, giving me the most frustrated times as well as dropping the banger of the century, to the extra levels of exploration as well as the fan levels and abilities that the community has made for this game just gives me so many reasons to come back to this game every once in a while. This game is the most high-end dessert with the most lovable community I've ever seen in a long while. Out of all of the Ascended games I have listed off, I would easily recommend this one the most. Even when there are surprises, it's always the funniest gags I ever witnessed.
Aki-chan! You've grown soft! Time to bring out your fighting spirit!
No. No. Oh god, no, not again. No, no, no! No! While there are games I consider to be my top 5 favorite games of all time, these games specifically are what I consider to be it for me. These 3 helped me out through the weirdest and wackiest parts for those times, and because of that, I cannot rank them. It's kind of the reason why I don't like the idea of ranking personal things, because sure, I can rank these 3 games to make them a big 3, but if I did that, they would always be trading places on what day and time you ask me. And I know for a fact that there will be other games released or unreleased that will smash through the top 5 and want to be a part of these games I hold so dear to me. That's why I consider them to have ascended above all, because nothing in life will ever be solidified in a rank. Stuff comes and goes. They might even leave an eternal mark on your heart that will change the way how you live your life, how you create, or even just reminding you of what you are. So, if there's any game that you consider to have ascended in your mind, it doesn't matter how many, please comment down below. I always love it when people are able to gush about their favorite pieces of media because it gives me a chance to learn about that person just a bit more. And from what I got from my Let's Talk About Music video, You guys have the most widest array of tastes that I'm always glad to hear and explore. This has been Lounge. Thank you for watching, and let's meet back again, shall we?
Perfect little packages disposed of when it's finished. Bearings free from cartilage. No beating all within it. A guided metamorphosis, but she won't get the memo.